Welcome to the guide for how to do the Grandmaster Achievement at Duke Succulus Mirror Image. The combat achievement requires you to kill Duke Succulus without ever attacking him, except at the same time he attacks you. We're going to cheese this a little bit by never actually attacking him, and we're going to completely kill him just by using Vengeance and purposely tanking hits. You don't need any gear at all for this. The only item that is helpful is a Ring of Suffering with recoils. You don't have to have this, but the consistent chip damage from Duke will constantly reflect ones back at him. So this is going to make the achievement faster and a little bit easier because, to be completely honest with you, even with this many heals, it can still end up a little tight depending on the RNG of your Venges. Otherwise, just make sure you bring runes to cast Venge, your teleport to get here, a Minify Remedy, that way you can make sure your stats are restoring. You don't want to bring a whole lot of restores because you're not really using that much prayer. You need your stats to be restored so you can cast Vengeance because you'll be constantly brewing. Your stats will be drained from that. So obviously, if you're watching this guide, you probably know how Duke works, at least the basics. So we're going to come in here, drop a few pots. We're going to grab the pestle and mortar and the pickaxe, and we're going to prep. The good thing about this CA is it does not matter how long it takes. It is a bit of a endurance test, to be honest with you. It will probably be like a 10-minute fight, give or take. I just got finished doing the GM speed time before this, so I was grabbing 7 mushrooms. That's why I accidentally grabbed an extra there. Oh, that's unfortunate. If you want, you can cast Vengeance before starting. That way you're going into it with one, and your cooldown will also be off by that time. Strong chance that the Venge will kind of be wasted because you have to be a bit particular about your timing with casting it. The reason for that is, since I previously mentioned there was chip damage throughout the whole fight, your Venges will be wasted on those hits. You only want to Venge whenever you're purposely going to tank a hit off prayer. It takes a little bit of getting used to it first, but you'll get a feel for it pretty quick. So we're gonna make sure we're healed all the way to full. Restore. Drink your Minify Remedy. That way your stats constantly restore themselves and you don't have to use as much restore to get through the room. And feed the pots. We'll get started. See how that Vengeance was wasted since there was the chip damage just before it? So even though you're not actually attacking, you still need to step back into melee range as if you were attacking during that moment. Your cue to Venge is right when you see the hit splat for the chip damage. If you Venge too early, like say for example, you're just Venging based off of your cooldown and you instantly Venge, almost for sure they will be all wasted. And the fight will take an absolute eternity, even longer than it already is. Another thing to be mindful of is venging at the correct time, but not wasting them on a special. So a great opportunity to use one is right after a special happens, because you know another one won't happen soon after. Many a times I would Venge anticipating to tank a hit, only for him to throw poison bombs at me, and it would be wasted from chip damage. If you feel comfortable doing so, you can take melee prayer off for bigger hits. If you're not on top of your game as far as stepping back in, Duke will use a mage attack, and that's pretty terrible. You can still use your vengeance on that if you want, but it's just a little harder to predict the timing because he doesn't always do it. So to keep it a little more uniform and predictable, I found this is the smoothest way. That was a great Venge right there. Another really good Venge. There's the mage. Didn't step back in time. And a bit of a sticky situation there. Got out of it. So honestly, if you're doing this method and you're halfway getting your Venges off the way you should be, you'll still have supplies left over. You know, I've clearly not done it perfectly every time, and I'm still sitting pretty good on pots. Be mindful after his enrage, his slam goes from a fact to Vortic, which you probably know, but it just feels so unnatural going back in and out, at least for me, because I'm not actually ever attacking him. I'm just stepping in to avoid the mage. So it does feel a bit weird. Okay, that was a good example of a wasted special right there, or a wasted Venge rather. I casted it anticipating to tank a hit, but he did a poison bomb instead. If you're getting towards the end of the fight, or it's just taking you a while, just be mindful to sip your Minify Remedy again. You shouldn't really need more than 2 doses, but bring a 4 dose and it'll for sure be enough. Decent Venge. As soon as he does his next special, I'll Venge right after. Beautiful. And again, I'm going to wait for the next special. Do it right after. That was a close call. Got chance there, actually, I think. Speaking to what I said a moment ago about being mindful of the change in timing from 5 tick to 4. Should be fine though. I've fucked up pretty tremendously in this example, and I still have like 6 brews left. And he's pretty much dead. I will say though, without the recoils, you do have to be a lot more consistent in your deployments, because all those 1s and 2s, they really add up. And if you're not getting all those, you're probably going to have to do, I don't know, 5 or 6 more Venges probably. If I just had to throw a rough guess out there, I would assume close to 100 damages from the chip damage. Okay, if we get a little bit lucky, this next Venge should kill him. Nice. Should be the achievement. Beautiful. Well, hopefully this helped you. You know, the description seems a little crazy. I watched a bunch of different guides on how to do this. Feel free to take whatever one you want. I just found this to be the easiest. Like I said, even with my massive amount of mistakes, I still had 5 brews left over. 4. 4 and a 6. I even brought more restore than I needed as well. So you can still fuck up. Don't have a recoil. You'll probably use your whole inventory. But anyway, appreciate you watching, and hopefully this helps somebody get their GM.